OSPF virtual links are used when you cannot meet the design requirements of OSPF areas, which says all areas must connect directly to Area 0, the backbone of the system. That's what a lot of the technical documentation will tell you, but let me give you a real-world scenario where that actually could happen, because sometimes there's a disconnect between seeing these dotted diagrams and routers and actually seeing how that could happen in the real world. Maybe this is, let's go with this one, Hi-Chew. I just ate one. So there's this candy called Hi-Chew. I got it from Costco, big bag of it. I read the back and I was sold. It said some guy in Japan, I think Japan or China, was trying to create edible chewing gum. You know, chewing gum that you could swallow instead of having to spit it out. And he kind of failed, but he was successful, and thus we created this candy called Hi-Chew, which is, it's like this, you just kind of chew on it, and it's like taffy, but it's good. Anyway, so let's just say he started in Japan, right? And Japan expanded. Hi-Chew candy starts taking off. People are like, I love this stuff. He expands out to, let's just say, Africa, right? Big Hi-Chew following over there. And for whatever reason, you know, Africa grows, and that division of Africa, maybe there's 50-some routers with all the different of Hi-Chew Africa divisions, but there is a much lower cost WAN link from Africa to what's my Africa? Australia, right? Right. Australia is much lower cost than actually connecting Japan to Australia by tens of thousands of dollars a month for that WAN link. So instead, we really want to be able to connect Australia in through Africa rather than having a WAN link from Australia to Japan. So that's kind of the situation that might cause something like this. Now, how do virtual links work? Well, virtual links work by tricking the system. Essentially, router 8 and router 7 need to believe they're directly connected to the backbone of the system. So the way that we can do that is essentially by creating a tunnel. Think of it like a VPN tunnel of sorts from router 7 to router 6 to make router 7 actually connect to the backbone. So technically, but when we're said and done with this configuration, router 7 thinks the topology looks like this. You've got area 0, right? You've got router 7 sitting right here. It thinks it's connected over on one side to area 67, this one right here, and on the other side it's connected to area 78 with all the routers right there. That's what it believes to be, and that's actually what happens. A virtual link, all it really does is create a tunnel through area 67 and attach directly to the backbone of the system. So it really does work that way. As a matter of fact, one of the alternates to a virtual link is using a GRE tunnel. GRE just stands for, not tunnel. GRE actually stands for generic route encapsulation. It's just, I mean, it's a very basic VPN kind of tunnel without encryption that you can use to attach router 7 straight through. So 2 ways to do it. Virtual link is by far easier. So let's make it happen. I'm going to clear this off. The way that we do a virtual link is literally going to be 2 commands. We go to the routers that are at the 2 endpoints of that virtual link. In this case, it's going to be router 6 and router 7. So essentially, think of this one as the transit area. I'll put TA, transit area that we're going through to make this virtual link happen. Again, to make router 7 believe it's directly connected to area 0 and thus make this work. Now, what I've done is I've set up OSPF all over the place. Matter of fact, let's go to router 7 right now. I was just doing some commands on it not too long ago. You can see I've got all of the routes from all these different areas. Looks good. Show IP OSPF neighbors. It's seeing 6666 and 8888. Those are the 2 router IDs I configured for router 6 and router 8 over there on the right-hand side. But take a look at router 8. Router 8, it's running OSPF, right? Life is good. Let me just bring that to the front. Life is good. On that front, show IP protocols. We see OSPF running. Show IP OSPF neighbors. Yeah, we got a neighbor. Show IP route. Nothing. Why? Because it's breaking the rules. We can't do it. So I'm going to go over to router 7. I'm going to go into router OSPF 1. And I'm going to do area followed by 67. That's our transit area. Again, this is the biggest thing to remember. We use the transit area in this number, and I'll do virtual link, and then you type in the ID That's the key. ID. It's ID parentheses IP address, but ID, the router ID associated with the virtual link neighbor. Now, I went in, and this is, by the way, one of the big reasons that we statically assign these router IDs is because we don't ever want the router ID of router 6 to change, especially if we're doing this config, because if it does, the virtual link breaks. Right? So I'm going to go over to router 6, and we got to do the same thing mirrored the other way. Ching. We've got this guy getting some mismatch area ID. That's fine. I'm going to go. It's giving me some error message saying, "Hey, I'm thinking I should be a virtual link, but I'm not." It's okay. We'll talk to router 6. We'll do router OSPF 1 area 67 virtual link, and we can do 77777. Right. Bing. Check that out. Essentially, it forms a neighbor relationship over the virtual link. It's through this little virtual link. Hang on, there's even a show IP OSPF. I think it's just virtual link, yeah. And you can see right there, it's got this little, it actually runs as an on-demand circuit. It makes router 7 believe it has a dial-up connection to area 0. Isn't that funny? So it's got its own hello timer, its own little point-to-point link. It's awesome. So no hello messages are being sent over this because it assumes if the link fails, the other neighbor relationship will fail and the whole virtual link will go down anyway. So that is the story. Now, hang on, we can't just leave it at that. We got to come over here to router 8 and see if he is getting routed. Yeah, look at that. Nothing else done other than bringing up that virtual link, and now everything is feeding into router 8. That is how you configure virtual links. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.